Hello and welcome. My name is Nadine and you're watching Spaghetti Junction. I'm doing a little mini series all about traveling alone with a child as a single parent. This is the second video of this series. I'll put the playlist up here. You can click on there now and watch the other videos after. I also put everything in the description box. So in this second video I want to talk about eating when abroad with a child. I think if this was just a normal travel advice video, it's not something you need to talk about because every grown-up person knows how to find food and how to buy food. But this is, I think, very specific if you go on holiday with a child. And as many of you might know, children are fussy eaters. So you can't just spontaneously go out and find a meal most of the time, unless you're one of these rare exceptions where your child eats everything. My advice refers more to older children, maybe from 4 or 5 upwards. Okay, so anyway, without further ado, let's just get into it. Most of the time when we're away, we stay in an Airbnb, and this is not a sponsored video. Unfortunately, nothing that I'm saying in these videos is sponsored, but I really like to stay in an Airbnb because you can do more than in a hotel room. I will probably make a whole different video just on the topic of where we're staying and how we're booking things. My main criteria with an Airbnb is that we have our own private bathroom. This is my thing for reasons I'll explain another time, but we don't really care whether we have our own kitchen or whether we share a kitchen, because in my experience sharing with someone is not particularly a bad thing. We stayed in some Airbnbs where we got to know some lovely people and the hosts, and they're usually really friendly. Also, if somebody hosts an Airbnb, they want to get good reviews, so they will make an effort to keep everything clean and nice and make you feel welcome. When I'm sharing with other people, when we're staying in somebody's house in a room, I make sure that it's okay for us to use the kitchen. So I'll write a quick email before we go, and I just tell them how I would like to use the kitchen and is that okay with them, and then see what they say. So the way we do things is that first thing I will do is go on Gmap and I type in supermarkets near, and then wherever location, street name where I'm staying, see if there's any supermarkets around, and then I will ask the host, oh, this is what I looked up, is that correct? Would you recommend this is the nearest and best supermarket? See what they say. So then it's usually then the first night when we arrive or the first morning that we go to the supermarket, and I like to cook us a breakfast, and it's usually something quick like scrambled eggs, and then we buy some bread with that as well. Eggs are just so quick to make, so I'll just scramble some eggs together, and then you can make it to your taste. You can add some pepper, some tomato, some tuna, whatever you fancy, and it's quite a filling breakfast. Then I also buy some snacks in the supermarket, like bananas or apples or cracker type thing, something like that, to take out during the day. And I will also try to buy a few sweets that are cheaper in a supermarket than buying them somewhere else. And of course, if we happen to walk past an ice cream parlor once and Betty wants an ice cream, of course I will buy her an ice cream. But I would try not to have to buy sweets out every day, because it tends to be more expensive to buy a waffle or to buy some crepes or churros or whatever. So I buy little bits that she can have in her rucksack, some sweets for during the day, and then she can nibble on that as she pleases. And it's just money-wise, it just makes such a big difference to spend £1 or £2 for a day on sweets, or to buy something out for 5 or 6 quid while you're somewhere. It's just these little money-saving tricks that I use. We will probably then have our main meal during the day when we're out, so we fill ourselves really up to the brim for breakfast. And then personally I don't snack anyway, so I like to wait until I'm hungry for lunch. And Betty will have something in her rucksack, so if she wants a banana or something else, then obviously she can have that. And then for lunch, we always have to find something that is edible for her. So this is probably my one thing when traveling with child rather than adult, that sometimes I get a little bit bored of the burgers and the pizza places, because I quite like trying different food. I mean, I'm not too oriental with my taste. I don't go too crazy. But I mean, for example, the south of France has some nice restaurants that are expensive and that would be a treat for me to go to. But, and I'm talking about the south of France in my previous video. So what we did there, it was a little bit tricky in the south of France because there's just such nice restaurants everywhere and really posh places. And the French as well, they tend to sit down for 2 hours to have something to eat. But we managed to find, we found a pizza place, we found a nice burger place. So we try and find something when we're out and about during the day that we can eat that is not too expensive and edible for me as well, and not just kids food. And a great thing to use is TripAdvisor. So TripAdvisor is, again, not sponsored, unfortunately. I'll put the link in the info box still. It's a travel website and you can make yourself your own little trips, it's called. So make yourself a trip. It's like a little folder. You can give your folder a name. Let's call it Restaurants in London. And you're going to London with your child and you have your little itinerary of places where you want to go every day. You do something else. And then you can find restaurants in an area. You put that into your folder and then it just stays there. You can have a private folder and you can make it public to other people. Just call the folder Child-Friendly Restaurants in London. And the website comes as an app as well. So let's say you just finished visiting Big Ben and it's lunchtime. And if you're clever, you open up your phone, you look at the app, and the TripAdvisor app also has a map next to your folder. So you can see what you've picked out before, where you could potentially eat. So this is the main app I probably use for if I want to plan a meal beforehand before we go somewhere. It depends where we are. If we're in the UK, I would probably not even do that because I can, you have a sense of what you like and what you look for. But if I was abroad, maybe I'll have a little research before and make myself a little folder of where we can eat. The reason why we have a big meal during the day and not in the evening is because we're spending so much energy during the day being out and about, and we really feel the urge of restocking our energy, refueling, so to speak. And it's just nice to sit down for a little bit and have something to eat, and then you will also spend the rest of the day walking that energy off. So I don't really like having big meals in the evening because we just go to sleep after, we just sit on the sofa and do nothing. So that's the main reason why I like to have a big meal during the day. And we don't really like having sandwiches during the day. We both like to have a proper meal. So then in the evening, the supermarket that is close to our Airbnb that I've already researched previously, I will get something for the evening, and usually it's something along the lines of a sandwich, or it depends what country we are, if they have different sort of breads or cheese and cold meats, that's the sort of thing we eat. Or maybe I buy some peppers or some tomatoes. But I'm not someone who makes a lot of effort with food, especially because Betty just likes a simple sandwich, and then I will not start making myself something really complicated. But also I think foreign supermarkets can be really interesting. So you can buy the food for your child, the simple sandwich, and then you might find a really interesting can of fish or can of worms, no joke. But you know what I mean, you might find something that's quite more interesting than going to your local supermarket. So that in itself, we just make it an experience, and that's all you need to do really. Yes, so this is how we eat when we're away. I mean, every child is different, everybody has different eating habits, but I just wanted to give you a bit of an idea of how we do it, and it's all doable, and don't panic. Your child will not starve, especially when your child is old enough to say when they're hungry and to say what they need and what they want. Just make sure you're not going too far into no man's land where there's nothing and no shops, and just be a little bit prepared. Thanks for watching. So this was the second video in my series all about traveling as a single parent with a child. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe and like it and put some thoughts in the comments below, because my channel is still new and I'm really trying to grow it and I really want to make this a thing. So thanks for watching, and I hope I see you again, and don't forget to watch the other videos in this series.